Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe Muro. And now, here's Zoe.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the New Thought Media Network. My name is Zoe Muro, and I am delighted and honored to be your host for Choice, your creative superpower. Coming to you from Oakland, California. We're here each Thursday at 12 noon Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. If you're coming back, it's great to see you here again. If this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. As a religious science practitioner with the New Thought Media Network, I have a ministry. And as a transformational coach, I have a mission. Both are to assist people in living their lives to the fullest. And what we do here on this show is we explore. We explore how wielding your superpower for the greatest good can co-create a most fulfilling life experience for you and the world. Today, episode 76, we'll be exploring the relationship between choice and being. Hey, Shay, good to see you. Thank you for being here. All right, so choice and being. Now, I want to make sure that we're on the same page when I use the term being, okay? So a dictionary definition for being might look something like this. A being is a living thing. Being is the state of existence. And the third one, the most important or basic part of a person's mind or self. That's the one that I really want to focus on. Because if we tie into that one, we can look at it as being sort of a way of being, which would be defined in this way. An impression of a quality or manner given by someone or something. Okay. All right, let me get rid of this. There we go. One of the founding voices of New Thought, Harriet Emily Cady, speaks about being in this way. She says, doing is secondary to being. When we are consciously the truth, it will radiate from us and accomplish the works without our ever running to and fro. Okay? When we are consciously the truth, it will radiate from us and accomplish the works without our ever running to and fro. Succinct and to the point. That first sentence about how doing is so much more about being is so much more important than doing it's a pretty big one. But I'll get to that another time. Okay, today we're going to focus on being. So I'd like to share another New Thought Giant's words with you. Okay, now, this is from Thomas Troward, a truly brilliant mind. And he is a bit wordy, shall we say. But what he presents is always rich and informative. So I'll beg your indulgence because I'm going to bring up a very large, long quote. I'm going to actually break it into two parts. But it's really important. Okay, so he says, life is being. It is the experience of states of consciousness, and there is an unfailing correspondence between these inner states and our outward conditions. Okay, so what's going on within is going to influence what's going outside, what's going on outside. Now, we know not every single thing that's going on outside has a corresponding cause within. But we do know that many things that we have within bring about what is outside of us. Okay, so he says, now we see from the original creation that the state of consciousness must be the cause and the corresponding conditions the effect. Okay, because at the starting of the creation, no conditions existed, and the working of the creative mind upon itself can only have been a state of consciousness. This then is clearly the creative order from states to conditions, right? We might say from thoughts to manifestation. Okay. So, Trower's emphasis on the inner states and the potential outward conditions is precisely what we need to address if we are looking to manifest and to be aware of what we do manifest. Okay, let me take this down for a moment. I'll give you an example. Let's say I've been working away for a while, completely oblivious to the time, and now I realize I'm really hungry. Matter of fact, I'm getting hangry. Do you use that term, hangry? That's so hungry that you're actually getting angry. I choose to put the work aside for now so I can have a nurturing meal. My inner state went from, my being, if you will, went from hyper-focused to recognizing hunger. And then it started to veer off into what could have been an acting out situation where I would just be a miserable individual. But instead, it led to the outward condition of addressing my hunger, chilling out, nurturing myself. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, so this then is the creative order from state to conditions. But we invert this order and seek to create from conditions to states. We say, if I had such and such conditions, then they would produce the state of feeling which I desire. And in so saying, we run the risk of making a mistake as to the correspondence, for it may turn out that the particular condition which we fixed on are not such as would produce the desired state. Or again, though they might produce it in a certain degree, other conditions might produce it in a still greater degree, while at the same time opening the way to the attainment of still higher states and better conditions. Okay. Very important that we always understand the relationship between what's within and what's without. All right. How often do we allow our conditions or circumstances to dictate how we feel, how we view something, how we interpret it, how we judge it? Okay. Give you a different example. Let's say I'm feeling really lonely. Okay. Now, I could choose to belabor that fact and, I have no one to share my life with at that moment. But I could extrapolate that to a belief I'll always be lonely. And then I can ensure that outcome by isolating, by lack of self-compassion, by finding fault in each and everything that I say or do and explain to myself, well, that's why I'm so lonely. Or I could shift my inner state to one of possibility. Okay. I can get in touch with a friend or a loved one. I can connect in some way. I could even remember that as the beloved of the beloved, as a creation of the one, I'm never alone. I'm always connected. Both loneliness and optimism are states of being which could lead to outcomes. Outcomes which are influenced by both my state of being as well as my perspective or my mindset. Yes. HALT. For those of you who are not familiar with that as an acronym, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Always important to ask yourself when you're really out of sorts, am I hungry? Am I angry, lonely, or tired? If so, let me deal with those. Okay. Thank you for that. So I had a choice. I could seek a solution, or I could let my loneliness become my entire focus. And I essentially become entrenched in the exact lack of companionship that I did not want. When my state of being is limited to whatever it is that I am feeling, my focus can narrow. My choices can become limited. And believe it or not, that does not necessarily apply only to quote unquote negative states of being, someplace where you're in distress or unhappy. You could be absolutely joyful. You could be lifting off the ground, 5 feet off the ground, just head in the clouds, and make a whole bunch of interesting choices. Right? So being able to counter what we're feeling with perhaps some other discretion might be important. Considering in New Thought, we emphasize the importance of how we choose to focus our attention and energy all the time, right? We think about what our focus is when we say something like, I'm sad, or I'm lonely, or I'm tapped out. Simple little phrases, right? But for me to say, I am, whatever I put after that means I've created an identification with that particular feeling or emotion. The more I choose to focus my thoughts in that way, the more I am creating a recurring pathway through my thoughts and literally through my brain. But I feel sad. I feel lonely. Okay, whatever it might be. That allows me to identify what I'm feeling, to accept and honor that feeling. And then I am free to choose how I can address it. All right. Now, what I'm doing is I'm choosing to create a possibility where I might have only seen a problem. My being, my state of consciousness is not determined by my feelings or emotions. Influenced? Absolutely. Determined? No. I can feel sad and still be a joyful person. Okay. I can feel a sense of loss when a loved one transitions and still be blessed by having known them and hold that love in my heart, hold my memories of them in my heart. I can even know that my finances are not what I need them to be and still see myself as being abundant. Okay. I can count the many blessings I have in my life, ways in which I am indeed blessed and privileged, because that sets up an energetic that focuses on abundance rather than focusing on lack. Each of those is a choice. Have you ever done or said something that you later regretted? Ever? And said to yourself, oh, but that's not who I am. All right? That's not who I am. So much of our life experience is influenced by our understanding of who we are, because our identity is a compilation, right? It's a compilation of our beliefs, our values, our roles, our relationships, and on and on. So if we are to live in integrity, we would want our choices to accurately reflect who we are. And given that each of us has been created by the One, by loving Spirit, our choices can reflect not only who we are, but also whose we are. Yes, we are human beings. We are also divine beings. What we choose to explore can have a tremendous influence on our being. Each exploration that we undertake presents the possibility of developing a greater understanding of ourselves, a greater understanding of others, of the world itself. We can enhance our knowledge. We can broaden our perspectives. We can increase our confidence. And we can dispel false beliefs. The answer to the core question of being, who am I, is found in what we hold to be our highest truth. If we believe that we are blessed, guided, and supported by our unity in God, loving Spirit, the universe, whatever term resonates with you, then our life choices are informed and molded by that belief. Whatever our state of consciousness, our choices are likely to follow in that alignment if we are living our lives in integrity. You may have heard the fable of the scorpion and the frog. It was like this. Scorpion asks a frog to carry him over a river. The frog is afraid of being stung. But the scorpion argues, hey, if I were to sting you, we'd both sink and I'd drown. The frog agrees. Midway across the river, the scorpion stings the frog and dooms them both. As they're sinking, the frog says, why? And the scorpion says, it's my nature. Our nature, our being, as fundamental as it is also dynamic and evolves as our experiences unfold. And as we explore or choose not to explore what our current state of consciousness means to our actions. So unlike the scorpion, who we see ourselves are today, who we see ourselves as today, can change. It can vary. We grow. We adapt. We learn. Or we close ourselves in. We become static. Choice. When I was a boy, I had absolutely no trust in people in authority. I had been abused in a number of ways by people who were supposed to protect me, to nurture me. I saw myself as being not just alone, but as an outcast because I was broken. I was unworthy of much beyond existence, even if that sense of being, that consciousness spawned a need to isolate, to be always prepared to defend myself from both real and imagined threats, to avoid connection. I sought anonymity as kind of a cloak of safety. When I was able to get past that consciousness, with a lot of support from some very, very good people, my choices in life correspondingly changed dramatically. As my sense of consciousness expanded, so too did my horizons, my outlook, my possibilities. When I stopped thinking of myself as less than, stopped thinking of myself as damaged goods, a victim, my creativity soared, my belief that I could actually thrive and not merely survive, my belief that I could love and I could be loved, my belief that life was truly worth living and living well. My choices reflected that newfound confidence and newfound self-acceptance. As I accepted the truth of my being, I was able to look at the world from a place of belonging, worthiness. And my world opened up before me. Hi, Garrett. Garrett says, perfect reminder of the choices we have. I love the topic, and it falls perfectly in place for what I'm going through from time to time. Glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that there's something here of value that is not necessarily if you're going through difficult times, but we know we grow more from the difficult times than we do from the easy times. Gary went on to say, when I feel lonely, I try to snap out of the feeling as soon as possible. My creator is with me and everyone else 24/7. No one is ever alone. Agreed. As long as you're not ignoring the feeling, you're not trying to deny it, I think that's wonderful, right? When we try to deny what is truly happening to us, all we do is frustrate ourselves. Okay, let me see. So where I am right now, my goal, my journey, my invitation is to allow that freedom from fear and shame to manifest a greater and greater life experience. My life changed. My sense of being changed from intolerable to tolerable, to surviving, to thriving, to being essentially limitless. Yeah. All right. Now, I'm not saying I am suddenly capable of anything in the world that I could possibly think of. No. What I am saying is that the list of possibilities for my life, for how I can be in the world, how I can participate, has grown, and it continues to grow exponentially. I can live a more authentic life. I can see the importance of maintaining healthy boundaries rather than constructing walls that shield me behind battlements, in essence. I can emphasize with those who have suffered through no fault of their own. My ability to love and to be compassionate have become more and more ingrained in my everyday thoughts and actions. My hope today is that you'll take a good long look at your being, your states of consciousness, and see if you are allowing who you truly are to inform your choices and to ensure that your choices reflect your values. We've been through some difficult discussion here. Some of the stuff's kind of complex. Some of it can possibly be a little frustrating. So I want to close with some ideas that are expressed in a different way, perhaps somewhat whimsical, but certainly wise. So let's see what we've got here. So Ricky Gervais suggests, be the person your dog thinks you are. I like that one. Maya Angelou says, if you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. I love that. Normal is just not a goal of mine. And Oscar Wilde said, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. But how about this one? I love this one. This is from a book called Blessed Are the Weird, a manifesto for creatives by Jacob Nordby. It says, blessed are the weird people, poets, misfits, writers, mystics, heretics, painters, and troubadours. For they teach us to see the world through different eyes. Shay says, thank you, Zoe. I am being myself these days, and I'm grateful. No normal. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week, folks. But I want you to be prepared for next week's episode, because next week we're going to be talking about choice and doing. Okay. Figured if we're going to do being, we should be talking about doing as well. So what's on your mind regarding choice and being? Let me know. If you have a topic relating to choice you'd like to discuss for a future episode, let me know about that. Okay. Would you like to have a counseling session, coaching session, prayer session? Need a speaker? Any of these. What you got to do is send me an email. Okay. Connect with me here at zodemuro@gmail.com. zodemuro@gmail.com. Always interested in hearing what's going on for you. And of course, anything that you share with me, I hold in complete confidence. Always. You're very welcome here. Oh, no. Really? You're going to try to be normal? Let me know how that goes for you. Folks, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'll invite you to give yourself a gift, the gift of exploration. All right? Take a look at ntmedia.org. There's so much that we have to offer. I'll give you an idea of what's a typical Thursday would look like here. 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Absolutely delightful Reverend Gina Cavario-Krupka presents For the Joy in the Journey. 2 p.m. Mountain Time, Practitioner Ken Ludwig presents The Vibrant Living Hour. 4 p.m. Mountain Time, Reverend Brock Ford presents The Spiritual Toolkit. Okay. So much goodness, so much goodness. If you can help us with a donation, either an ongoing donation or just a one-time donation, that would be wonderful, because it takes a lot to be able to do what we do here on the New Thought Media Network and to bring the joy of New Thought out into the world. We want to make this a world that works for everyone. So if you can go to ntmedia.org/donate, ntmedia.org/donate. Greatly appreciate it. Well, I look forward to seeing you again next week. And until we meet again, by all means, choose wisely, choose well, and know, without a doubt, you are loved. Namaste.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Muro.